Hey, what's up? Weekly Metal Reviews here with a sad video, discussion video. I'm pretty sure everybody has heard, but Jeff Hanneman of Slayer, one of the former guitarists, has passed away due to liver failure, and it's kind of saddening for thrash metal and metal in general. He also had that spider bite. I'm not sure if that is connected to his liver failure at all. They didn't say or anything, but it was a very tragic day. It's always tragic when somebody in a band like that has just pioneered so many things in metal, passes away. So it was very unexpected too. He was kind of young. He was only 49.
Yeah, for a while they were saying he was actually getting better and he was working on his playing again.
Yeah, and he was going to be back in Slayer playing, and Gary Holt of Exodus has been filling in for him and stuff. Well, so the future of Slayer looked very bright.
Yeah, for a while. Well, Gary Holt was for 2011. They got somebody else. But yeah, that was. I found out from that text because I went in the back at work and I whipped my phone out and I saw the text and that's how I found out. So that was just.
Yeah.
That's because Slayer was probably the first. Like I started listening to like Anthrax first. So Slayer was probably the first of the big four that I actually really got into. And it was just, we say all the time, it's not all they do is hit the whammy bar, but think about it, they've pioneered that in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were people used whammy bar and all that beforehand, but then they pioneered that kind of solo. And think of how many bands since then have taken that. How many bands kind of follow in their footsteps. Like they single-handedly started death metal as a band, and it's just sad to see them go.
Yeah, I've never been one that was extremely fond of Slayer's solos. I thought some of them were good, but I just thought they were repetitive and kind of boring at times. But Jeff Hanneman's solos always stood out to me more than Kerry King's. And one example that I can give of that is the Seasons of the Abyss in the Abyss solo. That solo is fucking amazing. One of the greatest solos of any thrash band ever. And Slayer, when I started to get into thrash metal and deeper into metal, Slayer played a very important role. I got into Metallica, then Megadeth, then Slayer. And I remember, just rushing out and buying all these Slayer records just because I was so into them and listening to South of Heaven over and over and over again and Seasons in the Abyss. And I remember being so excited when World Painted Blood was coming out.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh my god, I can't wait for a new Slayer album. And I listened to it over and over again. That's still a great album. Me and Keith have seen Slayer 2 times. We were lucky to see Jeff Hanneman actually play on the American Carnage tour with Megadeth and Testament. They played Seasons in the Abyss in its entirety. That was a very fun night. But
yeah, that was
saw him at Mayhem 2012 too.
Yeah, that was the first big show. That was another thing that Slayer kind of did for me. That was the first big show that I'd seen.
Yeah, that was one
the only other show that I'd seen before that was when we saw Bullet, and that was just in a club. This was the first huge atmosphere, and they killed it. Again, Slayer was a very influential part in the kind of music that I really listened to.
And the music that we write.
Yeah, even before that, I didn't really understand, what, thrash was. And then I listened, to Slayer, and I'm like, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And then, I read an article, or it was a journal from Rob Flynn of Machine Head, and how he was talking about how, the first time he ever talked to Jeff Hanneman, and he, started Slayer geeking. And, Jeff wrote just about all of the, or at least had a part of writing just about all the big songs. Angel of Death.
He did.
Angel of Death, Rain and Blood, Seasons, all of, the big songs. When you think of Slayer, you think of these songs. He had a part in writing them. I'm like, wow. Yeah, Hell Awaits.
Hell Awaits.
I'm just
songs.
And so, for looking at the future standpoint, I don't know what could happen. I think more recently, in the newer stuff, I think, yes, Carey is writing a lot more, or at least he does all the rhythm tracks, I know. Mm-hmm. But that's going to be that element of their songwriting missing. It's kind of controversial, but, all the songs, the Angel of Death, and what was the one from War Painted Blood that was about the Nazi troop something. There was a song on that album too.
Psychopathy, right?
No, there was I can't think of it off the top of my head, but they wrote another song. They kind of write, that aspect and the really dark horror aspects of their music, which came from him, is going to be gone.
Yeah. That's one thing that I thought about when I heard about him passing away was, what's the future of Slayer going to be like now? I mean, Dave Lombardo is no longer in the band. They got that one guy, I forget his name. And, now it's basically just Tom Araya and Kerry King, and now, the original Slayer can be no more. And, I know they've been working on a new album for a little while now. I'm just curious as when that will come out. I'm not saying they should rush it out or anything. They should just take their time with it, Or, who's going to play guitar for them? I mean, I know Kerry was talking about, how Gary Holt will fill in, and stuff, but will he fill in for the record? Will he fill in on every tour? Will they get a permanent member? Who knows? I mean, Jeff Hanneman's kind of, hard to replace, permanently for Slayer, because he was just such a big part, right?
Yeah.
I still have a feeling, though, if they continue with writing more albums, that it'll still be that Slayer. Slayer is Slayer. But I just think there might be something missing, just because Jeff Hanneman played such a huge role. And it's a shame how his career in Slayer ended, with the Spider Bite not being able to play for, 2 years or something with the band, and then he just very unexpectedly passes away. That's the first thing that came to my mind. I was like, wow, what a shame of how his career ended and all that. It's sad.
Yeah, because like you said, it kind of everybody thought he was getting better.
Mm-hmm.
Like he on the Big Four, when they played the show in New York, which was kind of early on when he realized he couldn't play. He was still playing. Came on and did 3 songs with him. Mm-hmm. But then he was early 2012. They were saying he's getting his playing up, getting the strength back in his arm so he can get right back into it. And then, I guess, later, toward the end of last year, there was another thing. They're like, the door will be open, but it's going to be a thing. And then, honestly, I hadn't heard nothing in forever. There wasn't any updates, his condition's getting better, his condition's getting worse. And then, all of a sudden, yesterday, what was it, 11 a.m., he was, pronounced dead. So, I mean, that's just shocking. I mean, it kind of puts a whole mortality on the entire thing.
Mm-hmm.
You look at Dio. It's Dio lived a long life, but I mean, for all purposes, at least as a person, 49 is a young age to go. So I mean, that's just really puts a dampening on everything, really. So I mean, it's not really,
Our condolences here with the Metal Reviews go out to Slayer and Jeff Hanneman and his family. So, any last thoughts?
Yeah, I've gotten everything.
Rest in peace, Jeff Hanneman.